Good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back with some more Warpforge. And today I'm bringing you another tier list. So this one has been requested a lot. Everybody wanted me to discuss which are the good and bad and, medium legendaries for each factions. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to discuss all the legendary cards for each factions, and we're going to rank them according to this tier list right here. So this is going to be like craft as soon as possible, great choice, luxury choice, subpar, and stay away. Now, one thing that I do want you to keep in mind is that a card may be really good, but I might still send it into, let's say, luxury if there are other legendaries that just take priority over it. So this is not only about how good the legendary itself is as a standalone legendary, but how it compares to some of the others, because the faction might just have way better legendaries that just take priority over this one, so it might go a tier lower. And please, before we start, just keep in mind that this is, first of all, my personal opinion. I'm telling you based on my own experience and what I think. And on top of that, I'm also going to be discussing this according to what I've seen, like what I've seen people use in the top 50 and what I've seen like those players run on their factions for the most part, because there are some legendaries that you 100% see on every strong deck that you might meet on the higher ranks. So without further ado, let's just get the show on the road. And of course, I'm also going to be including warlords, and we are going to start off with Marneus Calgar. Now, if you remember in my tier list for the warlords of Warpforge, I put Marneus Calgar in the S tier, and I still agree. Marneus Calgar is certainly an S tier warlord. However, he's going to go into great choice. Let me explain why. This is not a legendary card that you need to craft like as soon as possible. Reason for that being, you also have another warlord in the Ultramarines, which is epic and which is, I think, a little bit better or at least equal to Calgar, which is Varo Tigurius. And if Tigurius is like almost equal or as good or even better as like than Calgar, I mean, then he's not that much of a big priority to craft unless you really want to have this specific warlord, because I've been playing Tigurius and it's been like super successful. So you need to get this guy pretty soon. It's a great choice, but this is not something that takes top priority. Now, the thing that takes top priority is Humanity's Shield. Now, if you're playing Ultramarines, then you definitely need to get a Humanity's Shield, because your warlord becomes vulnerable until your next turn is just crazy good. It's very cheap, and it can give you that window that you need to just finish your opponent off, because as you guys know, Ultramarines have a lot of bursts. They can take you down from like 12 HP or more if they get the sufficient cards. If it's overtime, even more. So basically, you can use this Humanity's Shield to just buy you that one extra turn that you need, or use it to make a more efficient trade. So overall, I think Humanity's Shield is the legendary that takes utmost priority with the Ultramarines. When it comes to Antaro Kronos, I kind of think that this guy's a bit subpar. Reason for this being that you don't really play that, like, you don't really see that many vehicle Ultramarine decks, especially after they nerfed armored support. The thing is, vehicle decks can work. It's still an okay legendary for sure. Actually, I would put this guy in luxury, not subpar. I think subpar is a little too harsh. It's just that most Ultramarines decks that are really, really good these days, they run aggro. So you don't see this guy used a lot. But if you want to play a vehicle deck, if you want to be a little original, then this is a luxury craft that you can get once you have the most important ones. And Epistolary Librarian, honestly speaking, I don't think that is like really good, because Epistolary Librarian, while it has okay stats, its codex is to draw a card. And Ultramarines honestly have quite enough card draw as it is. They have a lot of card draw tools. Two of their warlords have like card draw abilities. The warlord that you might want to get this on is most probably Uriel Ventris, but still, even despite that, I don't think that this card takes a lot of priority, because on 7 energy and 6 energy and above, Ultramarines just have very, very good cards like Angels of Death and maybe even the Repulsor. And you know, on high energy, you don't really have space to play this card because, as I've said, Ultramarines often suffer from success, meaning they have too many good cards that don't allow some other cards to be used. So I would put this guy in a little bit of subpar. I might be wrong with this one. Tell me in the comments if you think so. Now, Sergeant Telion is actually really good. And I'm not sure if this is like craft ASAP or great choice. I think I would put this into craft as soon as possible. Reason for that being, this guy is just pretty good. Like camouflage, 5/6, like give sniper to all your troops. This guy can really swing the tempo of the game in your favor, and it could really turn the game as soon as you drop him, basically. And that camouflage really helps as well. The problem with Telion is that he's got 5 HP, meaning that a lot of flank units just remove him. But despite that, he can give you a free trade during your turn, which can be absolutely broken. So, yeah, I think Telion is really good. And I've been underusing him with the Ultramarines, but recently I got him from the random legendary, and I'm totally gonna be using him now more. Cato Sicarius. Now, Cato Sicarius, I would be tempted to put him in Stay Away, honestly, but I'm gonna say subpar. So, has invulnerable during your turn and gives you the greatest deed one, which heals a troop and gives it front line. Honestly speaking, Cato Sicarius is way too slow. This is a chunky unit, of course. Late game, if you drop it, it can end up winning the game if your opponent for some reason cannot remove it, but it provides no immediate value. It comes too late into the game. Honestly speaking, I would even put him into Stay Away. I mean, sorry guys, I know that some of you really like this card, but I gotta be honest. I think that Cato Sicarius is actually a Stay Away tier. It costs too much, and it's probably the last legendary that I would get in the Ultramarines if I had a choice. With a Battlefield Supremacy, it's also like a luxury one. So it lowers the cost of your vehicles in your hand by 1, draws vehicle from your deck. Actually, I would even put this into a great choice if you're playing a vehicle deck. So once again, actually that's the problem. There's not a lot of vehicle decks of the Ultramarines that are really that good. As I've said, people are playing mostly aggro. So if you're looking for a competitive deck, you're probably not going to be playing Battlefield Supremacy. So I'm going to put it in luxury above Antaro Kronos. I think this is pretty good, but overall, I think it like comes after these 3 legendaries. So let's say you have the Ultramarines Premium campaign and you got 3 legendaries. Like these 3 would be the priority, followed by Battlefield Supremacy, I guess. With Avenging Zeal, I know that Avenging Zeal has changed. It now permanently gives melee and range attack to your units, and it also gives it to the units in hand, and also buffs your Warlord. This can be pretty crazy, but once again, this is a finisher. If you swarm the board, you are not gonna get this off that many times. Now, I know some of you are already thinking, what is this guy saying? But hear me out for a second. As you can see, mostly I'm putting the very high cost cards in subpar. That is mostly what is wrong with Horus Heresy Legions and Warpforge. The games are too fast, they're too tempo based, they're too initiative based, so you really don't have time to play these cards. And if you do, they have to provide very big value, like a type of value that can instantly swing the game in your favor. This is not that kind of card. Sure, it can be good, but there are much better things that people can play for 8 energy. So I would say Avenging Zeal goes a little bit into subpar, even though it's pretty good. Just my opinion. Now we are moving to the Space Elves, so we're moving to the Eldar, and we're starting off with Dance of Death, which goes instantly into S tier. This is like undoubtedly an S tier card. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So this goes into S tier like instantly, and the reason is very simple. You permanently give your Warlord Shuriken 2, which helps you trade with your Warlord, like giving 4 damage to the enemy Warlord while most probably taking 2, and on top of that, it really helps you take out extra units that are on the board, which are left by 2 HP. So if something has 2 HP, your Warlord can just take it out for free, and it's cheap to use as well. So this is one of the main priorities of the Eldar that you could certainly think about crafting as soon as possible. I think that this is pretty good, and I've seen all the Eldars use this, so pretty damn good. As for Eliak, you remember I put him into trash tier during the last tier list, but I kind of thought over it, what you guys said. I think I'm going to put this into subpar tier. It's still a 40 HP Warlord, and it can still deal 3 damage, so it's still okay. It's just that the other Eldar Warlords are better, but he doesn't deserve trash tier. You guys were absolutely right about that, I think. I think he's just a little bit subpar, because some other legendaries are definitely better than this guy. I think that you can certainly get this later on if you wanna play a vehicle themed Eldar or something, but this should not be the priority. When it comes to the Fireheart, so this is a 4 energy 5/4 flank, flying, strike, give invulnerable to adjacent units. I think this is a great choice, honestly. First of all, because this is a flyer, and melee attack on flyers, high melee attack is a big deal. Plus, giving invulnerability to troops adjacent is also pretty good because it can help you like swing the tide of the game right in your favor. I think this is a pretty cost-effective legendary that you could definitely get. I would also say that Spirit Seer Kelinaris is a great choice. This is a great choice, especially if you're playing the Seer Warlord, because that ability to give you 2 extra Spirit Stones during your turn is absolutely nuts. Like, you could get so many Spirit Stones that you don't know where to take it. So this is actually pretty damn good. I do like Spirit Seal Kelinaris, and once again, I've seen all the Eldar players use it, just like they're using this Striking Scorpion Exarch, and I would actually put this Striking Scorpion Exarch in Craft ASAP. Because look at this. The guy is in stealth, he leaves a Waystone, but he can deal 8 damage in a single turn. Shuriken 4+4 melee attack. You can deal 8 damage with this, and most Eldar still play aggro, so I think this is like a very, very nice card to have, because 8 damage, guys, it's like crazy good. And Eldar, as you can see, mostly they have like pretty good legendaries. Like if I were to say which faction has the most a big batch of very good legendaries, that would be the Eldar. Comes with the Host of the Dead as well. Like, if you get enough Spirit Stones, this can be crazy because it drops Spirit Guardians equal to the number of Spirit Stones you have. And if you're at 10 energy, you can now use the combo. They buffed that ability of the Eldar, which triggers the Spirit Stone ability. So you can drop the Guardians and then use that, and they become like a 5/6 or something. So this can create like an unstoppable board very, very easily. So I'd say this is a pretty good card. Why the hell not? I would say this is pretty good. And when it comes to Wailing Doom, so Wailing Doom is like Vengeful Spirit from it's like Vengeful Spirit from what it's called again. Oh my god. From Horus Heresy Legions. It deals 8 damage, and it also deals 4 damage to adjacent units. If, of course, you use 2 more Spirit Stones. But 8 energy, 8 damage is like the Vengeful Spirit. Once again, this is a very good finisher for aggro. I would even argue that you could craft this like as soon as possible, but I will just go with great choice. Like, as I said, guys, the Eldars have some really good legendaries, except this guy. So Avatar of Cain, absolute trash. Never get this unit. Too slow, doesn't really do anything. He's not gonna be left alive. His HP is too low, even though armor is nice. Like, I think this is like the biggest meme in the game. Like, trash. Never crafted. Kato Sigarius is better than that. So like I would never get Avatar of Cain. Just saying. So they have like a ton of very good legendaries, but they have crappy Avatar of Cain. Emotech. Emotech is certainly going into S tier, and I would say if I were to rank which are the 2 must-get legendaries for Necrons, it would be Emotech and Tomb World. Tomb World speaks for itself. This is a game-winning card that a lot of people have been saying should have been nerfed, but it wasn't. Well, I don't know. Probably, maybe not. Necrons did receive some very nice nerfs as it is, but Tomb World is still kicking and it's still very strong. It's one of the best cards, so I definitely put that into S tier. And Emotech, I still maintain that he is better than Oricon for multiple reasons, because he can deal with 3 HP units, he's more tanky, he can take out Spirit Stones, he can take out Remnants, and he always wins a mirror against Oricon. If you're losing a lot against Oricon with Emotech, then you're doing something wrong, because Emotech easily wins that matchup, because as long as you are not dropping anything, you're dealing 3 damage while taking 1, including your heal. So you're kind of forcing Oricon to play quickly and just drop things on the board, which you can easily answer with your flanks and so on. So like Emotech is mostly gonna beat out Oricon if you're playing correctly. When it comes to Vargard Oberon, I think that I would place this guy into luxury. I can see this being played, but once again, actually I would say subpar. A lot of people are gonna get mad about this, I know, but I think it's still a subpar choice because for the most part, Vargard Oberon is just, I don't know, man. It's just too slow. It does protect your Warlord. It's better than Kato Sicarius. That's why it doesn't go into stay away. Because as long as this is alive, your opponents cannot target your Warlord. And if someone is too lazy to read, they can bash into this face of this Warlord. If you don't know, if you don't know if someone attempts to attack your Warlord while this is on the board, they automatically attack this. So it has won me a couple of games back in beta because people were just too lazy to read. So it can be funny, but I think it's a little too slow. When it comes to Resurrection Orb and the Necron Lord, I would say both are luxury. They're like... I know that you guys know that I use Necron Lord, right? But I'll be honest, I just like Necron Lord. If I were to tell you that this is like super important for Necron decks, I'd be lying, honestly. It's really good, but it's not that good to be like a super big priority. Now, I would say that some of the other cards could even take priority over that, like Annihilation Command, but Annihilation Command is once again pretty situational. You know, that's the funny part. The reason why I would put Necron Lord in great choice is because most of the other cards here are just luxury. Like Chronomancer can be funny, it can be good. It's just usually not that useful. The main part for Chronomancer is probably if you drop it from Tomb World, it's gonna give everything flank. So it can be a little bit sick. I would actually put this into great choice. I would put Resurrection Orb and Annihilation Command at luxury, but Annihilation Command can go to great choice if you're playing a Scarab build or a Swarm build with Necrons. Then Annihilation Command can be game winning because you swarm the board, you play Annihilation Command, you win the game. Resurrection Orb is nice, of course, but it's not that much of a big priority because you're mostly not going to get as many remnants as you think. The only time I think it's going to be a crazy good choice is if you drop a Tomb World, your opponent, the Orc, destroys it, and then you just play Resurrection Orb and get everything back up. This is actually a hard decision. Like, I could put some of these in great choice, but that's the thing. These two are the priority, and then everything you kind of craft depends on your taste. This is hard. This is hard to decide, actually. Everything is kind of luxury after that. Resurrection Orb is pretty cheap, so you could get this. Yeah, okay, this is what I would say. If you're playing a control deck, maybe this is how it goes. If you're playing like, I don't know, actually, do I put most of these things in great choice? I don't know. This kind of has me stuck right here, right now. So these legendaries are actually pretty okay. This is just for aggro, and this is for control. You know what? I'm gonna put Necron Lord down a little bit, get Annihilation Command up. Maybe like this. Maybe like this, I guess. So Annihilation Command would go for aggro decks. Resurrection Orbs can be really nice for control decks, and these two are very nice luxury units that you could really just grab whenever you need. I'm kind of stuck with this, so just give a comment, guys, about what you think. I think all of them are pretty good. I got a hard time ranking these four. I would just say that these two are absolutely must-have. This is a subpar card. Reason for this is that it doesn't start off with stealth. It has one ranged attack. It has frenzy, so it mostly always gonna go face. On aggro decks, sure, it can be okay, but it's just not good because if you could attack with this, or at least if it started out right away with stealth, it could be really interesting. You could deal like 8 damage to the enemy warlord's face before this thing went out. But without it having like stealth, it's really not that good because, yeah, sure, you'll deal a lot of damage to the face, but then what? Necrons cannot play that heavy aggro anyway, like some of the other factions. So, well, I don't know. I don't know, really. Swarmlord. So Swarmlord, I would actually put in luxury. I did say that this is not like that good. And I still really still think that it is not that good. Actually, I would put in subpar. I'm still maintaining that having one ranged attack is really bad because Tyranids already have a problem in dealing with flyers. It's already their problem. And having this on top, one ranged attack, is really bad. Like, Imhotep can trade with you 3-0. It's really bad. Overall, I think that the other ones, like the Neurotrope and Tervigon, are better than the Swarmlord. I know I'm kind of underestimating Swarmlord right now, but Tyranids really have like other priorities for legendaries than getting this guy. So I would say I'd put this into subpar. When it comes to the Broodlord, I'm certainly putting this in great choice. This is a pretty crazy card. Like, the other day on the draft, I had a guy drop 4 Broodlords side by side. That was crazy. But anyway, it has stealth. 6 stealth. So 6 energy, 6 stealth. Low range attack, but it has Synapse. So whenever like a unit triggers Synapse adjacent, it triggers Synapse twice. So that can be really crazy. Plus, it has the stealth to just stick around for that. So I would say it's a pretty good card. When it comes to Tyranid Prime, I'd say it's more of a luxury choice. 7 energy, 7/8 is not bad for sure. You could put stealth on it, so Tyranids have the ability to put stealth on their troops whenever they wanna. So with their very low cost cards, so you could make this survive, and it gives a pretty good talent to just buffs your units like crazy. So I would say this is like a luxury choice, a nice card that you could have on top. Tyranid Prime also goes into great. 4 energy, 5/4, so you could play this turn 1. So with your counterattack, you can drop this guy turn 1. And when a friendly unit triggers Synapse, gain like +1 attack and stealth, right? So that unit gains it. So this can be really good. This can be pretty good for combos. I think this is a great card. Overall, good stats. And can be cheesed pretty well. When it comes to infinite biomorphologies, I would put this in S tier. Because for 3 energy, being able to give your units in your hand like a buff right off the bat seems pretty good. And Tyranids have a ton of units. Usually they run more units than tactics, I believe. So this could work like really, really well. When it comes to Winged Tyrant, so draw a card when a friendly unit triggers Synapse. I'd say this is a little bit subpar. I've never seen anybody use this. And mostly because it comes in, once again, it's the same problem. It comes into the game too late. Like, these 9 energy cards have the same problem, just some of them are better than the others. So yeah, I would say it's not that big of a priority to play this shit. Now, this is an S tier with Ravenous Hunter. This is like the Unchained Anger of Angron from Horus Heresy Legions, but you can also use it on your units. Like, imagine having a Broodlord in stealth, for example, and then playing this. That's 14 damage right off the bat, right? And not only Broodlord, you can have like very high damage units with the Tyranids. And if your opponent cannot take it out, you just one-shot them. So definitely a must-have card for sure. And I'm very conflicted about High Fleet Leviathan. Now, High Fleet Leviathan can be absolutely nuts if you play it with, let's say, Tervigon, for example. I would just put this in luxury, and I'll tell you why I think so. I think this comes into play a little bit too late. However, when you play this, you could start playing Termagants for 0 energy. So maybe if you're playing Tervigon, you would actually get this. You would actually imagine that this is a great choice. I just think that Tyranids have like 4 legendaries that take priority over the others. So that's why I'm putting this in luxury, though I think that this is a pretty good card. I would certainly say that this can work really well with some combos, but not like absolutely necessary as you might think. So stay away from Gaskell for now. The only reason why you would want to get Gaskell is maybe for the future, because maybe they're going to buff the greatest war boss, but right now he's the worst of the Orc Warlords and he's pretty slow. Like, Grokface Ripa is so much better than this guy, And even Boss Darkstroke is better. So I would stay away from Gaskell Thraka for now because he really doesn't have anything to offer. I would say Mechboy Gazmech is a great choice. First of all, because of the stats. The 5 energy, 6 health is good. Mob is nice. The talent is nice. So you can pull off some pretty cool stuff with this. You drop it, you attack, you get a cheaper Death Thread. So yeah, overall, I think this is a good card to craft. Ardshell Gurk, I would say luxury more like. This is a glorified Lich Guard. But if it does survive, it can keep healing itself, increasing its health. Though, I would say like this is not something you would prioritize as orcs. There are like better choices out there than this. The Pyromaniacs, I would say, is a stay away legendary because it can give you like a very cool combo if you play like Knob into some stuff and maybe if you play Stormboy Assault, but it's really not that good. Overall, there is some combo potential though. There is some combo potential, but I would say right now it's a little bit subpar. If something changes, I would definitely put this higher. Maybe put it in subpar. Let's put it in subpar because it at least has some combo potential. Rock Invasion goes into... Does it go into S tier? Yeah, it does, because it can win you a game if you roll pretty well. But look at this. Orcs have some pretty sick legendaries. Both the Knob as well as the Makari the Grot are going to go into S tier. These two are the most important. Actually, that's why I would put Rock Invasion into Great. These two are the legendaries that you want to get for Orcs as soon as possible. Knob is absolutely insane. It has made Orcs playable again. They were not playable before they got this card, honestly. With this, I think they're really good. You could also pull an infinite Makari combo with Green Tide. You could just replay this over and over again until the enemy Rock Invasion is cleared or something. So, super good. I would say, like, Orc Knob can create some insane deadly combos. I actually rolled an Orc Knob yesterday from a pack. I just want to get Makari and then I'll make an Orc deck for you guys. And Prophet of the Wa is also going to go into great choice because Prophet of the Wa and Rock Invasion just tie well together. I would say actually Orcs have pretty good legendaries. Maybe I was wrong about the Eldar being like on the top of the food chain. Well, Eldar still get a little bit better, but wow, look at that. Orcs looks like they still also have like pretty good legendaries overall. I like it. So these two go into priority, then you get these and never get Gaskell and Pyromaniacs basically and you'll be fine. With Abaddon, now there's an interesting choice. With Abaddon, with Black Legion in general, let me tell you first of all what is S tier. So you need to get this Possessed Champion like as soon as possible. Possessed Champion is super good. Flank, Strike, gain Dark Pact. All really good. 4 energy, 5/5. This should be the first legendary card that you craft for Chaos, I think. When it comes to Dark Oratory to give pact to all your troops, this could also go into S tier, honestly. I guess that's like their best choice of legendaries when it comes to like Black Legion. The very good choices that they have maybe would be... So Apostle is 6 energy, 5/7, and Artifice give Dark Pact to all your troops. This can get really, really crazy, really fast if you play this and have 1 energy something. Yeah, this could get really crazy really fast. I think Apostle is fine. It's really hard to actually rank the Black Legion because they got some problems. It's really hard to rank it. I'm just going to tell you should stay away from Iskandar Kaon. Once again, a bait card, just like Kato Sicarius. Too slow and doesn't really provide anything too great. Yeah, maybe you can get a Drachnian out of it, but like how long is that thing going to survive? Drachnian, by the way, is really good. Like +4 permanent. It's like Conquering Tyrant, but kind of better because it permanently makes your Warlords attack 6. I would certainly get that when I can. Abaddon, I don't know, guys. So I said that Abaddon was like middle tier, but a lot of you guys argued that he's like better. I would still say that the problem with him is that he has no real energy dump at the start, but later on he can actually dump his energy. So maybe he's also a great choice. I'm not sure. Learvine Urkis, I would actually put him into luxury tier. The thing is that Learvine Urkis is cool, but most probably is gonna get removed instantly. This is not a card that's gonna survive for a long time, from my experience. Maybe actually like this. Maybe Drachnian is the luxury one, and Leervine Urkis is a great choice. I'm sure that Demonic Pact is a little bit subpar, because 4 energy, give your troops with Dark Pact. So this is like Humanity Shield, but worse, because it costs a lot. It's only during your turn, and not that good. So here's what we need to decide. I know that these two are the best legendaries you can get for Black Legion. This is definitely a great choice. Or is Leervine Urkis actually a great choice, and Dark Apostle is a luxury, because this is a little bit costly and slow. But if you have board control, this could go really hard. Yeah, it's very hard ranking the chaos right now. Maybe Drachnian, and maybe like this. I would say like this more. I think both Dark Apostle and Abaddon are still a luxury choice. I would still go with that, because most of the, as I've said, most of the Chaos Warlords that I'm seeing played is like Harken World Ender, or whatever he's called, basically World Slayer or whatever. So that guy with Blast 2 and flying seems to be the prime warlord for Chaos. When it comes to cards, I'm always seeing this. I'm sometimes seeing this as well. Not sometimes, but pretty often. These two cards are not that common, but I have been seeing them. These two, very rare. Abaddon maybe more often, and Demonic Pact is something that I almost never see. Once again, you know, the problem with Chaos is that if you were to compare their legendaries with the legendaries of other factions, they're not that good. Like, as I've said, I'm ranking these according to within the faction itself, like what should be your priority craft and so on. So even if I say, let's say, Drachnian is a great choice, it's not as good as, let's say, for example, Rock Invasion, right? So I want to tell you guys that this is not a general comparison only, but this is like a comparison within the faction. So if you're playing the faction itself, what should be your priority to craft? So if we take a look, I think this is quite accurate. I think with Ultramarines, these are your two boys. With these are your two. With Necrons, with Tyranids, with Orcs, and with Chaos. So most factions, as you can see, have like 2 S-tier legendaries that you need to get as soon as possible. Everything else is like good legendaries, luxury ones, kind of subpar, and stay away. I would say just prioritize getting everything that I've placed in higher tiers. The only difference is Chaos. Sure, if you like Abaddon, just get Abaddon, no problem. It's up to you, honestly. But everything else, I think, is ranked quite correctly. It's weird, I know, coming from a guy who uses Necron Lord like always, but I'm using Necron Lord because I just really like that card. I think that it's a pretty cool card. That's why I'm saying luxury tier is not a bad tier, as I've said. The bad tier starts from subpar, but I think the priority of it just goes a little bit lower than some of the other legendaries, unless you're playing a specific combo. Anyways, I always appreciate your input, guys. Please leave a comment and tell me why you think this rating is wrong or right or whatever. I always appreciate your opinion. So thank you very much, and Ecclesiarch out.